on those facts and on those principles. And would you enjoy working in an environment like that? No, most people in an environment like that, they start thinking, I think I would like to get a better job. Because the atmosphere that is created by people who only esteem this side of intelligence is not an atmosphere that is enjoyable. And if you are not enjoying yourself, you cannot reach the height of your capacity. In order for you to be the very best, you have to actually have an environment that brings the best out of you. Now, it would also be tragic if somebody said, this is all that matters, and I'm not going to spend any time on this. That would also be a tragedy that no one would like to experience. And so when we think about emotional intelligence and what it is that we want to accomplish, both sides of the concept of intelligence will be very important. Now, I have an assumption about all of you who came here today. I may be wrong, but this is my assumption. You are not the average university students. You're not. The average university student is still in bed right now on Saturday. That's the average student. And I notice that you're not only here, but your eyes are open and you're looking forward to this topic. And that means that you're not average. Many of you are here because you have established some very high goals. And your thought is, in order for me to reach the goal, I have to keep learning all the time to reach my goal. And one of your goals in life, I believe this about you, is you are hoping that you will be influential. You hope that your life really matters, changes things, and affects people, and you want to be influential people. I think that's true about you. That's a good thing. I hope that I have a little bit of influence in my life. Here's something that is just absolutely true. If you want to influence in this world, this right here is absolutely essential if you will influence other people. Because if you do not connect with them at a deeper level, and if you're not able to work together deeply, your influence will be very, very shallow. And one of the reasons why you're here is you want to be influential, and some of you have already come to the conclusion of, I want to get better on this side, and so we're here to talk about some very important things that will help us today. There is a concept of how we get the term intelligence. Now, I apologize that I do not know any Bulgarian at all. I apologize. And so when I say, where do we get the word intelligence, I'm thinking about my English language, and I'm sorry that I don't know your language. But I know that at least in English, the word intelligence comes to us from the Latin language, and hundreds and thousands of years ago, people started to use this word, intelligence, in a Latin world of Rome. And what did that word mean to them? The word intelligence, for them, came from two different words. It was the word inter, and it was the word legere. And when they put those two words together, they had something that they felt would help them very much. The word legere means to choose or to select. And so if somebody is involved in legere, they look and they say, well, that's the one I want, and they choose something. And the word inter is the word between. And so in the Latin language, the concept of intelligence is the capacity to choose between different options. And the person who can choose the best option among all of the possibilities, that is the person that the Latins, the Romans, described as intelligent. Such a simple description, but very, very powerful. Let's consider it this way. Choosing between options. You now need to write a paper for your university. And so you go to the internet and you type into Google the subject, and you only have about 72,000 options of what you're going to read. Now, you have to start choosing between all of the different sources of material, and you are supposed to choose the best sources of material, because on the internet, is it possible for you to choose garbage? Is it possible for you to choose something that is not true? Yes, it's totally possible. And so the intelligent person, when they're getting ready to write the paper, they go to Google, they see all of the options, and the intelligent person knows, I'm going to use this one, I'm going to use that one, and I'm going to use this one. And if they chose the best options, do you know what the professor will say about the paper that's been written? Great job! You really understand that. But if you chose the wrong options, what does the professor's face look like? It's like, how did you get here? You shouldn't be in this university. Because by this time in your life, you are supposed to already know how to choose the better option. So you're feeling sick, and you have to decide what you're going to do to get better. There's options that are out there. You know, a long time ago, in order to get better, people actually took these little tiny animals that are so gross, called leeches, and they would put them on themselves to let the leech drain their blood, hoping that they would get better. Now, that's an option that you can choose. It's really nice that today we also have the option of penicillin. And so if you are looking out there and if you choose penicillin instead of leeches, well, you're probably an intelligent person. You go to the store and you're buying something, and this wonderful person is taking my money from me, okay, because I'm buying something. She's taking my money, and then she gives me some money back. I have options now. I can simply trust her that she gave me back the right change, or I have another option. I can actually learn math to see if she gives me the right change. What does the intelligent person do? He always chooses, she always chooses the best option. And so intelligence is all about choosing the very best possibility out of all of the options that are there. And if you do that on a consistent basis, then your friends and your parents and the people that you work with, they will look at you and they will say, you are intelligent. And that does not imply that you went to the university. No. You are intelligent not because of a degree that you have. You are intelligent because of a capacity to choose the best option. And it just so happens that your study at the university is preparing you to choose those good options. That's the heart of intelligence. And the heart of intelligence is very important when we start thinking about emotions. Because this is what is so surprising. When it comes to our emotions, powerful emotions are constantly removing from our view how many options we have to choose from. I want to repeat that. Powerful emotions are constantly removing options from our view, so we feel like we have less options to choose from. Let me try to illustrate. If I'm a person that's having a very powerful emotion right now, and my emotion is anger, and I am really upset at something right now. You know, when I'm really upset at something, I'm not thinking very broad, am I? Those emotions are starting to push me in a certain direction. And when I'm really angry, normally I feel like there's only one option that I have in front of me. And that option is to get mad and to start yelling and to let people know how angry I am, because I'm mad. Is that my only option? Is that the only choice that I have? Oh no! It's not my only option. I could choose to cool down. I could choose to talk with a friend and say, could you help me because I'm really mad and I'm going to tear someone's head off if you don't help me. I could choose all of those things. But the stronger the emotion that I have, the more the emotion tends to cause me to not see all of the options that I have to choose from. And when I don't see the options I have to choose from, I lose my capacity to be intelligent. See how that works? Now here's the problem with emotions. Emotions feel to us like they are a dictator in our life. A dictator. If somebody comes to me and tells me to do something, my first reaction is, no, you can't tell me what to do, because I feel like I'm independent. But then when I have a really strong emotion, well, what do? I mean, I've got this emotion, so I just need to do what the emotion is forcing me to do. And emotions feel to us like a dictator that removes from us all of the options that we have in life. And when that happens, we cease to be people who are intelligent the way that we would like to be. And that becomes a big problem. And so, in thinking about the heart of emotional intelligence, and I need to explain something, I have no single definition for you on emotional intelligence. I'm not even going to try to give you a single definition. We're going to look at emotional intelligence from many different angles, and from all of those angles, you're going to start to build your picture of what emotional intelligence means. This is one of the pictures. Emotional intelligence is a discipline, very interesting choice of words. It is a discipline that I am working on that pursues increasing a person's capacity to make correct choices, especially in an emotionally charged environment. The more emotionally charged the environment, the more is my tendency to not look at all of the options and to only see this. This is all that I can do right here. And my discipline with emotional intelligence is when I feel the emotions that limit my options, I'm going to try to push them back so I can still see all of the options and I can make a good choice even when I'm having strong emotions of discouragement or happiness or love or despair or even panic. What will I do when I experience those emotions? Will they be for me a dictator that tells me what I must do? I don't want to live with a dictator. Or will I start to choose those options that I want because they're important? An emotionally charged environment. This is a dangerous part of life. When people are in an emotionally charged environment, they make choices sometimes that set the direction of their life. And some of us here, when we think about people that we really care about and that we love, maybe it's a younger brother or it's your nephew or it's one of your friends, what you're really concerned about that person is what decisions they will make when they feel very strong emotions. And you take a look at that person and you see what they've been doing, and you're so fearful of what they will do and the trouble they will get themselves into when strong emotions come. And you're afraid that they will make decisions that will not help them at all whatsoever. So I'd like to give us an example of some emotions and see what you think about this. I work with a large number of people, and some of them I work in the same office building, and I have been on a team with many different people, and everybody has a reputation on a team. There is one person that I'm thinking about who has a reputation, and part of his reputation is great, because if you want to start laughing this person will probably be the first person to get you laughing. Do you like that kind of person? Yeah. It's kind of nice to be on the team. It's like, okay, come on, dude, say something. Yeah, good. Especially because I don't think about those funny things the way that he does. So that's part of his reputation, and that's why people like him. But that's not all of his reputation. The other part of his reputation is when he starts to get discouraged and when he starts to get emotional, it comes out really fast and it comes out really hot. You know what I mean? And so we're having a discussion about a topic and everybody's discussing something normal. But when the group isn't going his way, this person starts to get angry. And his anger oftentimes gives people an emotional bloody nose. We're just having a conversation about a topic. And this person right here just shared his opinion, that's all. But this person, because they get angry, now is talking to you like this. And he's not expecting that. Were you expecting that? No, he wasn't expecting that. And so, part of this person's reputation is he is the most explosive person on the team. The most explosive. Now I want to ask you a question and I want to hear your answers. How does that part of his reputation affect his relationships on the team? Badly. Can you describe how are the relationships affected? Yes.
Well, he's not doing very well, is he?
He's doing well until he gets explosive, and then he's not doing well at all. Yeah. How are his relationships affected? How do people treat him? Yes.
Poorly, with suspicion.
Okay, so when you're around this person, you immediately have to start protecting yourself. Okay? So some conversations, you stand like this, and some conversations, you're like, yeah, okay, yeah. Because you know it could happen at any time. And then what people do around explosive people is this. They go, yeah. Oh, yeah, Okay, so we're talking about that? Yeah. And everybody creates this huge distance around this person. So, on our team, when there's a project to do you want to be in a subgroup with this person on that project? Oh no, can I have the other topic? I would like to work on something different. And this person who is very funny and is very enjoyable became isolated on the team. And in fact, the whole team started to shut down. Because as soon as he got emotional, everybody took a step back. And the efficiency level of our team went down like this. I have a question for you. How would you like to be this person's boss? Would you like for this person to be one of your direct reports? Wow. Because you need to go talk with this person. And you need to talk with this person about a difficult subject of emotions. So my boss had to talk with this person. Now, here's the good news about this, is my boss happens to be a person that I would describe as being emotionally intelligent. So I'm going to tell you a story of what happened to my boss, and then I'm going to ask for you, where you're sitting in your tables, to have discussions of what you see in my boss that might be an example of emotional intelligence. Here's the story. My boss was traveling in Russia, and he was at the airport in Moscow. Now, if you have not been to the airport in Moscow yet, I would like to describe to you something about the airport in Moscow. All of the airports in Moscow. All three. It doesn't matter. It's the same. When you are in the airport in Moscow, you are more nervous than in any other airport in all of Europe. And do you know why? Because in Moscow, you know, it's similar with Paris, but in Moscow, you know that you will not receive any good service if something goes wrong in Moscow. That's just the reputation of the airports in Moscow. Maybe they don't deserve it, but that's what they have, that reputation. So, there's a lot of people in the airport in Moscow, and it is December. December has bad weather. And when my boss Larry looks out the window, here's what he sees. He sees that it is snowing, and it is coming down. And because it's really snowing in Moscow, he and all of the other passengers are more nervous than usual. So, he's waiting at the gate, and there's about 200 people that want to get on this plane going to Budapest. And as they're sitting there, you know, they have something on the wall. They have a monitor that says how soon you will board the plane, and the monitor gives you messages. And the first message that came on the monitor was, flight delayed 15 minutes. Now, everybody who was already nervous is now more nervous, 15 minutes. In a few more minutes, it went, flight delayed 30 minutes. 30 minutes? Well, now people are starting to talk with each other about, well, what do you think? I don't know. What do you think? This could be really bad. So everybody's really nervous. The next message, flight delayed 1 hour. Flight delayed 2 hours. And the snow is coming down, it's coming down. And then it happened. Across that screen, everybody saw the message. Flight canceled. Oh, no! I'm in Moscow! No! Anywhere but Moscow! So now you have 200 people who are all angry. And standing at the desk beside that gate is this one little girl. And they all come to her so angry. And she says, I cannot help you. You must go to a room at the far end of the airport. They can help you. And so 200 angry people are walking through the Moscow airport. 200 angry people are feeling like they are not going to get home. And they get to the room where someone is supposed to help them. The room is smaller than this room. Smaller. There's 200 people, and some are trying to get in the door, and they can't even see the people at the desk. And now they can hear what is happening at the desk. There are people yelling and screaming and angry at the airport in Moscow. My boss came to the door, and he looked into the room, and he saw what was going on, and he thought to himself, nothing good is going to happen. Nothing good. And so, he left to go look around the airport. So he's walking down some halls, and, you know, at the doors, some of them have little windows on them, so he's kind of looking in the windows of the doors, and he comes up to this door, and he looks inside, and he can't see very much. But he sees a few people sitting down on some chairs, and the chairs are nice. Their suits are very nice, and when he sees their briefcases, he's like, okay, that's a $500 briefcase at least. And Larry says to himself, I just found first class. And so Larry opens the door, and he walks into first class, where they're waiting. And he goes up to the woman at the desk, and he says, excuse me, but I think I see that you have some very important people here today, don't you? She goes, oh, if you only knew. One of these is the ambassador from Sweden. And he needs to get home, and I have no idea how he's going to get home. And Larry says, wow, I'm sorry, this is really difficult. You know what? I got one idea for you. You see, my flight just got canceled, and I had to walk from one end of the airport to the other end of the airport. And I walked beside every single gate on my way here. And from what I saw, there's only about one airplane that's still trying to leave tonight. It's the Lufthansa flight at gate 17. And if you call the Lufthansa office and the gate 17, maybe you can get these guys on that flight. And the lady said, really? Thank you. And she she dialed gate 17 and she talked with people and they had room in first class. And so she got those important people